because this gun stuff is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's really heavy to talk about, but I feel like having an opinion on it is
Well, so it's sad but eye-opening that 3 mass shootings happened in a span of like 48 hours. Like, that's crazy in and of itself. But I guess for me, I am upset with the fact that everybody wants to say it's everything but what it is. You know, how Trump is trying to, you know, crack down on video games.
And the internet.
You know, and I'm like, sir, these video games, or you can talk about maybe like, I don't know, like Overwatch or Mortal Kombat or whatever violent video games
No, it's
there.
fucking Fortnite,
you know what I mean?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, but those games are being played in every country around the world.
Yeah.
But mass shootings are only happening in America.
Yeah.
So if, you know, kids in Asia and, you know, in Africa, Australia, you know, South America, wherever, if they can play these games and it not be detrimental to their well-being.
And they're exposed to more actual violence.
Exactly, than we are, but it's only happening here, and it's like, no, sir. The problem is these little boys and men who are exposed to all this white supremacist rhetoric.
Let's be clear, these
little
white
boys exposed to all this white supremacist rhetoric. And because the guy in El Paso, he was like, he drove all those miles to shoot Mexicans. Like, that's what he wanted to do.
And he wrote posts talking about how he didn't like
on a whole white
supremacist site. Like, there's a site. There are a few.
There
are lots of sites online that white supremacists now feel empowered to congregate on the internet and talk about their beliefs as white supremacists, strategizing, who to take out, empowering each other, go and do this. But the thing that I feel like differentiates us from other countries, because other countries have hate, other countries have, play video games, and they have all these things. But the fact that myself, if I wanted to go get an AK-47, I could go do that. I could literally go to a gun show, have my ID, and get an AK-47. No regular civilian should have a military assault rifle. I understand if somebody is like, oh, don't take away my guns, like, right to bear arms. Yep, no, but it's like, have a handgun.
Yeah.
Have a little pew pew pew. That's fine. But to have literally the police don't have those type of guns. Having an assault rifle, no one should have access to that.
I was about to say Joe Biden.
Not number 3.
No, so Biden did an interview with Anderson Cooper the other day, the day of the El Paso shoot or whatever, and he was just talking about it. It just made so much. It's like no one needs that many bullets to do anything.
No.
Not once. I don't care if you've been a hunter. If you can't hit after 1 to 2 shots, then you probably don't need to be out there in the first place.
Right, and you're not hunting with an AK-47 because that deer will be lit up. Who's gonna eat that deer with 50 bullets in it? You are not gonna. And quite frankly, just how they have murderers and rapists or whatever, they're on a list that when you move into an area, they'll pop up and you'll know who's around you. I want to know who has AK-47. I want to know who has an assault rifle in my area. Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to send my kid to a school where someone in that area has that. Or I don't want to be out. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now those people in El Paso, they're afraid to go to the grocery store. They're afraid to go to that.
I mean, that's just American. Like, over the past 10 years, look at what our reality has become. Think about it like this, too. Remember when you were a kid and you were in history class and you were learning about all of the things of the world? Who would have thought that years later these type of events would be happening in America, that this would be our reality?
And you're literally going to be a textbook page.
For us, at least for me, I was so hopeful that things would get better. As a kid studying about, just all of the different things going on in politics and wars and this and that, I don't know why. I just assumed that as time progressed, people would just become more human, and a lot of those different things just wouldn't be an issue, wouldn't even be something we even thought about. Mm-hmm. So in 2019, to know that you can't go to the movies, You can't go to a concert.
Right.
You can't even really walk around in Vegas. You
to
can't go to Walmart. You can't go to church. You can't send your kids to school. You can't go out to the nightclub. You can't even go to Paris. And the fact that we are now on a unsafe country to visit list for several countries is so like, this is America. Yeah. And that is what is just so disappointing and just so sad. Because everything that this country, we won't say it was built on, we know it was built on, but everything that this country is supposed to stand for, we are complete opposite. And also, the last thing I'll say, whatever, is when we were kids, going back there, these weren't even things we even thought about.
No.
So the fact that now that these young people and these kids are growing up and that they're understanding because of the images, because of what they're seeing, definitely the white boys. Mm-hmm. At this point, if you get upset with mom, and oh my God, rest the woman, Sandy Hook. God rest all these souls. But the fact you can get upset with your mom and go and grab a rifle and then go to her place of employment and not only kill her, but kill also innocent children, and know you're going to be able to walk away in handcuffs. Yep. Probably more protected and more feeling like I'm finally seeing that you did it before the act is scary. Yeah. The fact that you would be more of a threat to police and to society by potentially selling cigarettes than you are having police arrive to a scene where you just murdered.
Yep.
Yeah. And the fact that Dylan Roof got Burger King after he shot and killed 9 people in a church. In
the place of worship.
Like, that is, I can't even put into words.
Yeah. The Dark Knight shooter, I know it was in Colorado. I can't remember if it was Denver or Boulder, but the guy who went into the theater during Dark Knight, oh my God, could you just imagine, man? Yeah. And literally went into the front of the theater and killed all those people.
Oh, like 50 people.
Walked out. I don't even know if people are even still, they're alive, they're just serving sentences, if they want to, like, because it's the media, it was mental, you know, it was, you know, they were mentally disturbed.
And that is something that is killing me, because Trump, and you know what, I don't expect a lot from Trump, but still, he went on national television and he did not call this a terrorist attack. This is a terrorist attack. Mm-hmm. This is an act of terrorism, and they are from white men. Like, yes, you could say that they are mentally disturbed. Yeah, there may be other factors that come into it. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's a terrorist attack and they're killing American citizens. And for you not to take a stand and be like, call it what it is and say we need to do something about guns. We have to do something about our own domestic terrorism. Mm-hmm. Because quite frankly, when you look at the terrorism that happens in America, more people die from domestic terrorism than international people coming in and terrorizing America. Mm-hmm. And those terroristic groups are white nationalists.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
And there's going to be more.
Yeah, the reason why they're not afraid, or they're just unwilling to say what it is because they're going to have to be accountable for their position and for how they benefit from this white supremacist rhetoric. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going to have to be like, okay, so money. If white supremacy exists and white privilege and racism still in America, it's like, okay, well, how am I benefiting from that? Yep. And so now you're going to expose yourself to the truth about your life, because it's true. Like it's going to expose all you people who invest in private prisons and the industrial and the school to prison pipeline. You know, like systemic racism. Like, you're going to have to be accountable for all that you benefit from. Mm-hmm. Because they all benefit from it.
And I'll say this too. I know that the upcoming 2020 election is not going to be the solve to racism in this country, to domestic terrorism, to gun. Like, it's not. It is a step in the right direction. Now, I say that to also say, this Biden interview was really good, y'all. He was dropping mad gems. Yeah. Biden was just he was just like, mental health, mental disorders is not an excuse for hate.
Yep.
Like, it is not this is hatred. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you can be the most happiest person in the world with every mental illness and hate someone and do something that's foul, do something that is a pure act of evil.
Right.
Baby girl, you're gonna be dealt with accordingly.
Right.
Nobody cares if you were sad in that moment. You did some trifling stuff, whatever. So anyway, so Biden had dropped that gem, whatever. Something else that he has said that's kind of like me a little bit, but just watch the Anderson Cooper Biden interview. Like it was just like really good, and you know the other point will come to.
Yeah, watch those interviews and definitely educate yourself on like all the stances of all the current potential candidates, because I feel like you have to really see where, at this point in my life, I need to know where everybody in my life stands concerning me in my life, so I can put you in your place in my life. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes, you know, you can be so cool with somebody just because y'all may have some camaraderie in one area of your life, but then, you know, you might venture off into something else, and you're like, you think that way? And it's like, and it can be detrimental to my well-being, you know, as black or gay or Christian or whatever have you. You know, it's really important that you guys educate yourself, research, and be like, okay, what is your stance? Right. And if I elect you in office as a governor, a senator, a mayor, a president, you know, as my friend, boyfriend, whoever, like I need to know your position in life. Because it's important. It really is important. We can't stop. We have to stop, like, you know, just dismissing people and be like, oh, that's just them. It's like, no. You being them is going to mess up me and us.
And I remember what I was going to say, but I don't remember if it actually was Biden. It may have been another news journalist on a different, like on CNN or something. But whoever it was speaking to that we also have to stop putting so much on Trump. Trump definitely ignited a lot of this and kind of like sent out this spirit to the white supremacists as like, y'all, I'm here. My brethren, please stand up, rise up. He definitely represents that. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of it is our day-to-day interactions with people that are kind of like causing a lot of this tension, you know. So as much as we do want to put it on Trump, and Trump is definitely #trash, Trump, you know, and he needs to definitely get impeached, and he definitely does not need to be, you know, voted back in office. But at the end of the day, whatever, like, this is bigger than Trump. We was doing, because you think about it, Obama also had his mass shootings too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's not so much associated with the president. Because when we had a black man in president, they was wilding. When we had Bush in president, they was wilding. Now we have Trump, it's just a different group, wilding. But that group is still going back to the same core. Right. So I say all that to say that, like, it's just so important for us to understand that, yes, voting is going to make a huge difference in our country, in our different, like, you know, when it comes to our Senate, our government, our local officials, our, you know, things that's kind of just happen, like, you know, within our neighborhoods. But a lot of it is just like, you got to start having these conversations with some of these white people, to be honest. You know what I mean?
And
like,
you'd be surprised. Like, there's a lot of people who think that, you know, oh, it's just white nationalists who think this way. No. I was having a conversation with one of my friend's fathers, and he is a very, you know, upper middle class, you know, white man, but, you know, he's really nice. He's great. Like, he treats me really well. You wouldn't think anything twice about it. But we started talking about the Parkland shooting, and he was saying that, oh, well, don't take away the guns. It's just that we need to get security guards in the school. They need to have AK-47s in the school. And they need to have better security in the school.
Yeah, I saw.
And all this stuff. And I was like,
you want my school to be a war zone?
Yeah, I was like, so you're saying that now schools and middle schools, high schools, elementary schools, like, their security guards need to literally carry around assault rifles to protect students? Yo, and that is how people think.
There's a brand who are out here making bulletproof backpacks.
I saw that.
That is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I had to send my 8-year-old kid to school with a bulletproof backpack and say, in case of emergency, flip this around.
Right.
And it really, and the thing about it is, what's worse is that all of these mass shootings, it just kind of exposes, like, it can happen anywhere.
Anywhere.
Like, it you know, sometimes you can be like, oh, this happens in this area, or this happens. It's like, no, it can happen anywhere.
Right.
Like, nowhere is, like, completely safe. And it sucks that we all have to be prepared. Like, it's kind of like, you know, does your job have a protocol for mass shootings? You know, does your, you know, it's like you have to think, it's like, hey, corporate.
You have to think about that.
Because now it's like, now we have to take those precautions. Like, what do I do if someone comes in my job?
If there's a disgruntled employee, because anybody has access to a gun. Like, I'm telling you, if you wanted to go get an assault rifle or whatever, you could go do that tomorrow.
And you know what we have to do too, which I know that there's a level of sensitivity around it, but I really do think we have to start telling more stories about the victims. Like, I understand that, like, a lot of the families want to be able to grieve and want to be able to mourn in private, but for me, it really becomes a reality when I kind of hear a little bit more backstory and hear more of the stories. Like, with some of the El Paso victims, like, hearing a story about how this 2-year-old literally had like broken bones because her parents jumped on him or her in order to save their life, but they passed away. It's just like the fact that now this 2-year-old is walking around with a broken bones because his parents had to just do all they could to protect this child is heartbreaking. There was another story in CNN, Anderson Cooper again, had, I know maybe it was Donovan Show, I can't remember. But they had like the family of a victim of a father, and he died covering up one of his daughter's daughter. And it's just like, oh, like, you know, we talk a lot about the shooter, then we go right into the politics and gun laws and stuff, and then the people, the victims' stories get lost. Their names get lost behind all of the noise around the incident, which talking about it is important in that light as well. But it's just unfortunate. Like, I remember with Emma from, is that Parkland, Florida? Like, when she finally rose up and those kids started to actually speak out about who they are, who they knew, who was in those classrooms, that's when I feel like it really was like a movement. And when the country was like, no, we need to have a conversation about gun violence, about gun laws, because that could have been my daughter. And the reason why I'm now identifying that could be my daughter, because I'm seeing someone who looks like my daughter talk about it. You know, and I just feel like again, you know, I just feel like when it comes to these shootings and stuff, we get so caught up in the politics, which is needed, but we forget those victims. And I feel like their stories also need to be told, because I'm like, that's where we're going to find that humanity. And that's where we're going to be able to remind that, like, we're people.
And it's just like a life.
A life.
Come on. Like, literally children, people in their 20s, life just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Like, married people with babies. You know, the guy in Ohio, he shot up a bar. One of the people he killed was his own sister. And it's like, these lives are gone. They're no longer on this earth. You know,
mass shootings, like, when it's like just when it's like a murder and it's like, you know, a couple people, like, it's just like it's targeted. It's, I went to kill this person. I went to do this with this person. It's like, what is it? Is that premeditated? Like, you know, but when it's the mass shootings, because it's so many names, it's like, and you have an assault rifle, like an AK, whatever. You're not thinking like, you, boom. You, boom. You're just shooting, and there's people just like just dropping. So it's like it's just the body counts. And that's what we talk about. We talk about the body count. 50, 20, 17, 6 victims. You know? And it's just like, there may be 50, but let's focus on that one.
Let's talk about this lady who was a mother of 5, this man who was a teacher, this person who was working and covered up people to try and protect. You know what I'm saying? And because put yourself in that position, because these situations could happen to any one of us, because it's not targeted. It's so broad, and people in Vegas, like, it was like 100 people that died in Vegas or whatever. And it's like, all those people are gone. No one's even thinking about that anymore besides their families. And those were just lives lost, you know? And those could easily be one of us. And we wouldn't want to just be a number. We wouldn't want to just be, oh, we were one of the 30 people that got, you know, whatever. And I don't know, I think that there needs to be a soul. And even there was a guy who was getting awarded. He was an Army veteran, and I think in the Walmart in El Paso, he was one of the, he saved the kids, and he was really like, it's not about me. Y'all are over here trying to make this all about me, and it's not. Like, thanks for the recognition, but it's about these lives that were lost. And
we can't we can't allow these things to be so routine that we grow numb to.
And I think that's what's happening.
To how tragic these things really are.
Right.
You know, we can't.
Did y'all see people running around? Not running around. Did y'all see what happened in Times Square last night?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a motorcycle had like some form of malfunction or whatever, but it sounded like gunshots, but it was in Times Square. When I tell y'all, Times Square emptied out, cleared out.
Wow.
Gone boots. Like the video, it's on like Showroom, ABC, it's on all like the major news affiliates, whatever. But the thing that really stood out the most, even though it wasn't an active shooter, it was just like a motorcycle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that something so small can cause that much fear because people know, I don't care what it is, you run.
Yeah.
This is our reality. I don't even have time. We'll look at the video offline. But it's just like no one even questioned what really is that sound. You literally just see hundreds and hundreds of people just running for their life. And I work in Times Square. Like, you know, I worked in Times Square during the Boston bombing. I worked in Times Square during when that guy, I mean, it wasn't an active terror or an active shooter, but when that guy got drunk and then drove through whatever and you know, ran through there. So I've been living in New York, working in that area during some very scary, traumatic events. And so to know that, like, all it takes now is just a pop from a motorcycle to cause that much frenzy, and to understand why people were out, like,
right.
And you know, and it's just sad.
It's really sad that that's our reality. Like, that's what you have to think. That's what you have to think. Like, I'm sure in some countries, if they were to hear that, they would be like, "What's that? What?" You know what I'm saying? But in America, if you hear any kind of pop, I'm assuming it's them.
I think the United States government needs to start issuing gun policy, not like safety policies, like in public places. This is what you do. Like we need to start educating a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's just like I want to know, like in some of these cities, like New York, Los Angeles, some of these major cities, whatever. In case of emergency, what is the protocol?
Yeah.
If I'm in a public place, do you want me to call 911?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do this? I mean, you know what I mean? Do I just run? Like, should I be getting under like? There's just a lot of education that we as civilians can do in regards to how to better protect ourselves in, you know, God forbid, if, you know, we ever found ourselves present with an active shooter.
If this is our reality, we have to prepare for it.
Right.
We have to.